Hello! This is the next round of my Dominion Online Championship match against BobbyDJ18. Bobby's quite a bit higher seed than me, 34 to my 95, so I've got my work cut out for me. Okay, opening with the 3-4. There's trashing with scrap and rat catcher, it looks like. We have the owl lets you draw up to 6, so if you have some kind of village effect, which I'm not seeing here, you can get that to work. You can get golds with Market Square, you can get some draw with Tormentor Imp stuff. That seems pretty difficult. I think you can only ever play one inventor a turn. However, there's lots of good 3 and 4 costs to invent, so I think I'm going to want to try to work towards that. So I think I'm going to open Scrap Inventor. If nothing else, the inventor can gain supplies, or conspirators, or market squares, or rat catchers, all of which I'm happy to add to the deck. I think the plan is to try to get thin, I don't know, moderately quickly. You're not going to thin all the way down, I think. Try to collide scrap with market square one time, and then go straight to greening. If you hit an early 5, you could pick up probably, it's not clear to me between the 3-5 costs which one you get. Probably not Tormentor. You want to have so many actions in the deck and horses and stuff that Tormentor's not going to work. Although Tormentor works with horses, so if you have a bunch of supplies in Tormentor, that can work. So they got the inventor. I'm going to follow suit here. We'll see if they copy me in terms of my scrap. So with a 3 here, I consider getting Market Square or supplies. Those are my two choices to go with. I think I don't need another scrap yet. I don't have a lot of trashing in the deck at this point, so the Market Square feels a little bit early, although it is plus buy. I'm going to go for it, depending on what I draw here. Okay, so this is very much quite sad. I'm not going to get to play my scrap and kill an estate this turn. That makes me very upset. So I'm going to be behind here already on turn 4. However, it's still early. There's a lot of stuff I can do. They're scrapping an estate, which is logical. Card horse. Because they took the card, that makes me think they had the inventor in hand and they've now missed their inventor. I'm not 100% sure of that. I'm looking at a conspirator here already. I think I have enough actions, and I do want the rat catcher, even though it's more expensive than other things. It's 1 cost, and I had 3 to spend, but it's the thing I wanted to buy. Not quite sure what Bobby's thinking at this point. If they have an inventor in hand and are thinking about playing it, my assumption is if that was the case, they would just click on it and then decide. So I'm assuming they have some amount of treasures in hand. Last turn they played 2 coppers, so it may be that they have 3, 4, or 5 money. All of those are possibilities. And they may not want to give me the information by playing all their treasures, which is reasonable in a championship match. Okay, Secret Passage. That's odd to me. I'm not quite sure why they play it. Secret Passage, get my inventor, get my rat catcher down. Okay. So consider getting some supplies now, just to start going down that front of the supply train. Maybe even get double supplies. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. So I'm going to get a conspirator here, another conspirator here, and then 2 supplies. And here I'm going to trash, on my next turn, trash 2 estates. And either get a market square or another supplies. The supplies are really nice and play well with the conspirators. Because the horses that I gain from supplies to the top of my deck, I'm going to play every turn and get those. See who's spectating in the game. Yep, so they've trashed a second estate here. And scrap gives you 6 options of things. Usually you can take 2 from an estate. Card action is often what you take. Or early in the game, something like card coin, when you know you're not going to draw something dead. If you have an inventor in hand, then I would say action buy is what to take. Then you can play the inventor to gain something like a conspirator or a secret passage. And then if you've got 2 coppers, you can then buy 2 supplies, which you're happy about. If they don't have the inventor in hand, they may be thinking about other things. Card action. So I can consider killing a copper here, but that feels pretty greedy. And I'm going to take card action myself, buy another market square. And unfortunately, I have a really annoying draw here with my conspirators. Play a conspirator. So for 5, I can buy any of the 5s, as I said, seem pretty good. I think because I'm going for an action-based deck, the Band of Misfits is going to be the best. I can play it as any of the other actions. Possibly one of those supplies that I bought should have been a rat catcher. I may want to start thinning my deck faster. 6. There's going to be another Band of Misfits. Yes, there's 6 things in the trash, and I've only trashed 2 of them. But this looks like it's going to be a really nice turn for me. I can play the horse, scrap the estate for action coin, discard the market square to gain a gold, invent something, buy another rat catcher or supplies. My opponent, unfortunately, due to their thinner deck probably, has been able to chain actions together. Yeah, I assume they have a scrap and an inventor in hand, and they're thinking about which one to play. That is my best guess for what they're doing. And it's worthwhile, I think, for me to figure that out, because it helps me know what their next hand is going to be like a little bit, and helps me track their deck better if I have a pretty good idea of what's in their deck and what it's capable of. I can do a better job at knowing if they're going to be able to end the game on some kind of 3-pile, although that's a long way off here. But it's the kind of thing in this kingdom where cards like supplies and rat catchers are purchased in plenty. Okay, double supplies. Double market square, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm definitely going to play 1 market square. Colonnade says buy, right? Okay. I'll trash this for card action. I'm going to keep going on these conspirators. Market square. And I do need another rat catcher, I think, at some point. So pick that up now. Okay, so if my opponent finds a secret passage or a conspirator, they can have a nice turn with this next card. They've got a lot of cantrips in their deck, so it's not that unlikely. Yes, they must have chosen on turn 8 to not play an inventor. I'm really confused by that. I'm not sure why they would do that way. And so they can get the last 2 colonnade points here, unfortunately, and win the colonnade split 10-2. Should have been a little bit more cognizant of that. I guess. I don't know if that was something I could be aware of. Okay. This says play this turn, so that doesn't work yet. Okay. So I have 8 and 2 buys. So I can sort of pause here and say, do I want to make the game go faster and longer and buy some things like conspirators, band and misfits, supplies, or do I want to say that the game is going to go short and just start buying provinces? I think because I have an 8-point deficit, I just need to start buying provinces. And I have the elite. I have some band of misfits, which are nice. I'm having extra supplies. I'm not so sure about this, but I don't feel like I have time to waste in greening. My opponent is much thinner deck than me, so they're going to be able to green and play their deck much easier. So I'm not quite sure anymore what I'm doing. You kind of all spiraled out of control there. That turn when I bought 2 supplies, turn 5, I could have considered buying Ratcatcher Market Square and giving me +4 victory points, and bought supplies on a later turn. So Bobby didn't hit 8, which is good. That means they just keep building. It's really hard to increase your hand size. It seems difficult to me to imagine a deck that can double province, but it doesn't seem difficult to imagine a deck that can province duchy, for example. So this is unfortunate. This is just 7. 7 could be a province, though. Do I want it to be a province? Just take a conspirator and a province, I guess. With inventor in play, provinces are less. With the supplies, I should be able to, if I can get the supplies in play, I get the horses and guarantee the conspirators are going to work. The Ratcatcher is called, not played, which confuses me sometimes because it looks like it's in play, but it's not. So the problem I'm going to have here is Bobby DJ is going to be able to play their whole deck quite soon, if not this turn. Get all their money, see what they've got. I'll be able to see what they've got, but start picking up double, province and more components or province duchy in turns. We'll see if that. They might even be able to work towards a pile out here. which I can also do on the best turn that I can have, I think. With market squares and rat catchers being cheap. I might even pick up another market square at some point just to give me that option. So they've added one province now, they're ahead, and they added a conspirator that turn. So they can get to double province next turn if they can draw, which I think they can because their deck is the same basically, with 2 horses on top and 1 fewer copper, 1 more province. Supplies. Interesting. I can get buys with scrap. And I guess Band of Misfits no longer works as conspirators, so that's a mark against my deck. But in theory, you know, to pile I need 10 money and 7 buys, which isn't... Well, that's to pile. I have to gain points. So if I get a duchy, that's 12 money, 14 money, and 8 buys. That seems like too much for my deck to do. Well, I'm going to inherit. I'm going to invent one of the market squares. So that would be still 12 money and 7 buys. Yeah, I had it right. Secret passage. Okay. So the question I have is, do I have another turn here? And if I do, I will play this rat catcher. If I don't have another turn, I want to try to win this turn. So I guess I'm going to try to win next turn if I can. Yeah, I do have to trigger this shuffle and decide how I want to do that. Market square play. Market square. So it's 6, 10. Market square. Play. I can consider scrapping something. This is 6, 9, 10, 11. I don't feel like I can buy a market square. Yeah, if I touch market square or supplies, there seems like a pretty good chance that they can pile out next turn. Could also consider scrapping something to try to play on, but that seems counterproductive. So if I had called the rat catcher, if I hadn't called the rat catcher, I would just have 1 more money, which would not close here. So I think province and so go province market square, which means they need 4 money, 8 money, 15 money, and 7 buys to pile out, which I think they have. Otherwise, it's 17 money and 7 buys. That seems more difficult. So I guess I just scrap a copper and buy a province and nothing else. So this is going to be a good start with the inventor. I'd hoped to have found that last turn, but I didn't have enough draw in my deck. I still have too many coppers. Maybe one of those Band of Misfits should have been a secret passage instead of a market square. I still had the pile out in my head, but that increases my search space and lets me draw 2 cards and then put one of the coppers I don't want near the bottom or something. And so again, if they get to 7, 11, 17 and 8 buys, sorry, 17 and 7 buys, they can win this turn. And they have 3 or 4 supplies, so they're close to that. It may be that this, though, is all of their actions. They still have a copper or 2. So they don't seem to have it here. They are a couple of buys short. Okay, so I'm still in the game, which is good. They buy a single province, which makes sense. Are they going to go for duchies or something else? Because my band of misfits were not conspirators, you notice that the card still has to be there, so I can't play band of misfits as conspirators. So the turn when I had all that money was more than my current deck can support, I believe. They're probably calculating how strong my deck is right now. I think knowing my state of the deck, I would just buy a province here. And if you're super uncomfortable about it, buy a province. Yeah, just buy a province here because I'm not going to be able to double province pretty much under any scenario here. If they haven't tracked my deck that closely, then they may be worried about that. And so figuring if they need to buy like 2 duchies here, I think if they buy 2 duchies, they're still significantly in the lead. There's really not much I can do other than hope that they top deck all 4 of the green cards when they shuffle next and don't get a nice turn next turn. Although they have 4 horses in play, so that seems... Oh, the top 4 cards of the deck are horses, so it seems really unlikely for them to dud next turn. Double duchy seems fine. Even like double duchy, double rat catcher, double supplies. The rat catchers aren't useful, but they're cantrips, so they get out of your deck and they lower the piles. And the supplies are nice for the deck. Supplies kind of function like a cantrip in that sense sometimes, where you get the draw on the next turn, but this game's going to be over. What's the line from Top Gun? This thing's going to be over in 5 minutes, and this thing will be over, Bobby DJ's next turn or my turn after that. It's not going. Bobby DJ's only got one turn of the game left, I think. And if it does go any longer, they're going to win no matter what, pretty much. I'm kind of astonished by that gold. I don't really know how to react to it. Okay, I do want to trigger this shuffle because these are bad cards. Yeah, there's really not much I can do here. I think just like inventing everything feels like it's losing. That kind of feels like a slow resign, what I just did. I'm not... Maybe I should just resign instead of making that play. They've got now 4 horses in their hand, I know. and they're going to start playing actions, and then hopefully somehow they don't draw their whole deck and buy up a bunch of provinces. I guess what I'm hoping for is they can't win this turn. They can't triple province this turn. I think it actually is possible with the gold data that they can triple province, in which case nothing I did would matter. But if they double province here, I basically can't come back. I can buy a bunch of duchies, and maybe they have a couple dud turns in a row, but they've got such good action density that seems pretty unlikely to happen. And I know they have 4 supplies and gold, which is 7 money. They also had 3 coppers, so that was me. They had no coppers last turn. So they, with 19 money, they can buy two provinces and a duchy. Seems safe for them. I mean, everything seems safe. Even if they pass turn, I think they still win. Maybe if they bought 5 curses, they wouldn't still win. Maybe if they bought 5 estates, they wouldn't still win, but they probably would still. Yeah, this seems completely impossible, but I'll click it out. I'll put that in the bottom. Scrap. Play. On the bottom, play. So that's 10. I can't really get 2 duchies. And my opponent should win pretty easily here. If this wasn't the first game of a championship match, I would resign now. But they seem to have it pretty well in hand. Good game. Okay, so lost the first one. I think I had that unfortunate... We both had unfortunate first shuffles, but I couldn't trash an estate where they could. And that one buy order when I bought 2 supplies, if I bought a Market Square Rat Catcher, that's 8-point VP swing, and the Rat Catcher helps me get thin quicker. So that was their first player. So I'm first player on this next game, and we will see how that goes.